Started. Awesome, thank you. All right, welcome everyone. This is our last day of sessions for this year's Accelerating the Accelerators virtual conference, Thriving Forward. Thank you to everyone who's participated so far. Thank you so much to our speakers, our partners as well. This event has been a wild success this year, and we can't wait to get all of your feedback from our feedback survey that we'll be sending you either Friday or Monday of next week, just to make this event even better next year. So welcome to our Welcome and Community Connection session. My name is Sarah Sterling, Program Catalyst of Communers.org. This is our small but mighty team. I'm going to kind of skip through some of the slides because we have gone over this information the past 2 days, but basically we're a completely remote virtual team. And what do? We have primarily a membership community. Oh, and of course, my slides are freezing and going all over the place. Hold on 1 second. Apologies. Okay, there we go. My internet's a little bit wonky today. So about Communers.org, primarily we're a membership community of purpose-first conveners from all over the globe. And by convener, that could be an impact accelerator, impact investor, media company, digital storytelling, leadership coaching. If you are an individual organization that's committed to creating social and or environmental impact and bringing others together to help you do it, or inspiring others by bringing them together to create some sort of impact, then this is the membership community for you. We also have an advisory services arm that is more one-on-one consulting, and that's to help conveners at any stage, ideation all the way through even like measuring the impact of the convening. We can help you do that work. So if you would like more information about membership, please feel free to email me, sarah@conveners.org. And our community connection today, since we have a smaller community, we can share briefly in our main group here, but basically name, organization, where you're based, and what is something you've gained from this event? What's one action item you're committed to doing once this event has concluded? Because we are all about creating action even between events. And so that's something that we're really focused on and excited about for this event. So I'm going to go ahead and stop screen share for a sec. We'll go back to the main group. And who would like to go first? Colin, would you like to go first? I think we keep losing Moma for internet connection.
So Ian has already heard this actually, because I did say it yesterday in the session with Patty, but the thing that I've kind of gained the most, I think, this week is just a broader understanding of who everybody is and what everybody is working to achieve. I come from the world of, business support and event logistics. So this has kind of been a really exciting way to introduce me a bit more in depth to what everybody's doing. And I think, if I remember correctly, it was an action item. For me, I think it would just be continuing to expand on this knowledge that I've built this week and continuing to learn more about who everybody is and what everybody's working to achieve.
Awesome, thanks, Colin. Ian, would you like to go next?
Sure. So my favorite parts of all of these gatherings is the hallway connections. I've appreciated the wonder sessions hosted and the ability to talk to folks or not talk to them if they're having private conversations. And made a number of in-depth connections there. I happen to, let's put this, as the person who's been in this field for 20 years and just never went away, as opposed to my smarter peers who went on to other things, I have seen a lot, and I'm incredibly happy that this community is growing and existing, and been going to these meetings and meetings like this for a decade, starting at SOCAP in 2010, I think was the first one GSPI invited me to.
Yep.
It's great to see it continuing. Specifically, I happen to have some experience through a prior conveners project with worker-owned cooperatives. And there's some cooperatives here who are trying to raise money. So I was able to give them specific advice on people that they could talk to that weren't out there. I sent actually my list of all the US worker-owned cooperatives to somebody, and I've been sharing my list of the 2,700 active social enterprise groups that I have on my website from around the world with a lot of folks, which is built in part also on a conveners list and a number of other lists put together. Yeah, that's an interesting session because, of course, there's 4,500 folks total there. What happened, where, not just where are they popping up, but where are they going away?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything's disappeared off the internet in a couple of countries for not reasons having nothing to do with social enterprise. But other than that, it's watching the change in growth and shrinkage in some places.
Yeah.
But just the ability to have the small group conversations with peers is amazingly beneficial, and the ability for me to learn what's happening now so that I'm not stuck in my own bubble has been very, very helpful. And here's where I pause briefly in case you tell me anything you want me to talk about, and then I can do a blank so you can edit to something specifically you want me to talk about.
I think that's perfect. I mean, if you have any other action items, but I think that was perfect.
I have 4 or 5 one-on-one meetings, I think, already scheduled or aspirationally scheduled.
Yeah. Hopefully there'll be actual meetings but that sounds awesome. And that's why we have created this space. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Since I can walk over to MIT from here, so.
Oh yeah, that's nice. And then for me, I would say, I mean, I've also been involved in this space LinkedIn just reminded me, I had my six-year work anniversary with SOCAP. And so, and this is my 3rd year, this will be my 3rd year with conveners in November of this year. And so just being in this space, and I think Ian, what you were saying too, is just seeing, it's just such a pleasure. And I'm really excited to see how much the space is growing and how much more mainstream it is becoming. And I think too, the session topics that we had this year were, really, really diverse and really interesting and different speakers that we haven't necessarily had in past years, or that I haven't necessarily heard from. Some familiar faces and then some not familiar faces at all. And so it's been really wonderful to see the community come together and give, all of these speakers are coming from really amazing organizations, and the participants are coming from amazing organizations. And there are a lot of people, I mean, everyone has very limited time. They're very busy, very important people with a lot of expertise, and they're giving their time and investing their time in this community by joining the sessions, by presenting at the sessions, and sharing, being open and sharing their network, sharing their connections, sharing recommendations and resources. And I just think that's been able to help create the space for that to happen. And then one action item for me, I mean, we're going to be taking all of the content created from this, as well as all the resources shared and the, attendee list, and seeing what we can do. What can we do better next year, as well as how can we really use the information that's been generated here to share with the whole ecosystem, with people that may never have even heard of this event before. And so thinking of all the different ways we can promote and have a home for this to live. And hopefully get funding for next year's event so that we can do it even bigger, maybe even hybrid. I don't know. We have a lot of ideas. So that's sort of my action item for that. All right, great. Perfect. Thank you everyone for sharing. We're going to go back to the slides really quickly. And so we don't need the poll, Colin, I think, because we just have Ian, unless you would like to vote, and I can vote. Oh, Ian, you're muted now. And I don't know why this keeps advancing when I don't want it to advance. There we go. Okay. So big announcement for those of you who are watching the recording. We have decided as a team to change the name of Accelerating the Accelerators to a different name, which we did a huge brainstorming session on during the team retreat. We've really thought intentionally about this, and I'll explain a little bit why we wanted to change the name and why we came to the name that we have arrived to, which is Impact Catalyst Network. And so Accelerating the Accelerators has had different names throughout the years and different iterations. I think it's always been, and Ian, you can correct me if I'm wrong as well, because you've been involved in this since the beginning as well for the Accelerator Network and conveners, but it's always been focused on supporting organizations that are working to support social entrepreneurs specifically, or like have an impact focus, right? So accelerating the accelerators, in terms of the name itself, we really wanted to find something that's more broad to really reflect the diversity of organizations and the diversity of support that are given to social entrepreneurs. And accelerators, as I think everyone here knows, it's a very specific type of organization. It's a very specific type of work, which does have, its fluidity in its own, definitions and stages of enterprises that they work with. But our community is much more broad than that, and it's grown a lot more past just accelerators. We have impact investors, we have university programs that work with students to build their enterprises. We have fellowships and scholarship programs. We have event organizers that support entrepreneurs through pitch events and again, scholarship programs and fellowship programs. We have media and digital storytelling services that work specifically with entrepreneurs. So I think it's grown, the network itself has grown to be much more than just accelerators. And also too, like our work as Communers.org has grown even within accelerating the accelerators. The support we've been giving and the work we've been doing has grown as well. And so we really wanted to find a name that was, if admittedly a little jargony, a lot more broad, but still had the focus on the things that we felt were most important. So the first, obviously, impact, because that is the main thread for all of the work that we do, is that focus and dedication and passion towards creating positive impact in the world. And then network, we really wanted to maintain that sense of community that we strive to create in the spaces that we work in. And then Catalyst, we saw this as, all of these organizations, which we have been calling entrepreneur support organizations, we see them as that spark or catalyst in social entrepreneurs' lives, their ventures, their teams, in terms of the spark that helps them move to the next stage or get started, or keeps them going, or helps them be more sustainable, to basically and to catalyze the entire ecosystem and global economy, if we want to go to those, the umbrella bird's eye view. And so we thought Catalyst, in terms of being that change or that spark or that major support or that thing that social entrepreneurs can point to and say, we wouldn't have made it without resources from X organization or this training program or this mentor. So everyone that's in our community and in this ecosystem is a catalyst. So that is the explanation behind the new name. And we have 3 logos here. So those of you who are watching the recording, please feel free to email me or Colin if you feel very strongly about 1, 2, or 3, but we would love your feedback before we choose the final logo. And we'll also have horizontal logos for those of you who are graphic designers. But I just wanted to put the squares on here. So any gut reactions, Colin or Ian, on these 3 logos? I've already picked my favorite, so I'll wait till the end.
I have a visual reaction and I have a conceptual reaction.
Okay.
The conceptual reaction is, I know what you mean by catalyst. But I feel like other people won't. I absolutely agree that this is broader than accelerators, but it is not SOCAP, it's not SBC, it's not the SCA, it's not the big tent. It's a specific piece of the tent where we're tied to everybody in the big tent. I put in the chat that I used to call this the Trade Association of Pipeline for Impact Investors, except of course not every company that our folks support is looking for investment.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't. All the people I work with aren't necessarily looking for investment, but that sort of felt like the trade association of people who are supporting and growing companies. And catalyst is a good word for that, and I think it's the right word. But I also think not everybody's going to know what that means, and having a 1 or maybe 2 sentence thing that goes everywhere with the logo, at least for the first year or 3, so that people know that you're referring to a particular set and that you're not yet another all things social enterprise or all things impact. Remember when LinkedIn tried to claim social enterprise? So that's sort of the first big reaction. For the colors, I like 3. You want a box because rather than the arrow, because so many WordPressy basic website design things give people boxes that are a certain size. And if you use the one that goes outside the box, you're going to end up with, people are going to end up resizing it. And the red makes it a little bit more visible across a different spectrum. And then later you can come up with what the colors mean. But for the first 2, the colors are pretty similar, even though they're different colors. It looks like more of a lot. That's just, yeah. But yeah, don't look to me for any visual design advice. But I would strongly recommend having a sentence or 2 that clarifies what you mean by Catalyst, so that people not in the community have a stronger sense of that.
Yeah, we need a tagline that we can include as maybe part of the logo, like you're saying, like a community for entrepreneur support organizations or something. I mean, that's
you don't have to come up with it right now. That's just, I feel it should be one, whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. And we can definitely work on that. And the color, just so you know, Ian, and for you as well, Colin, the color schemes, the first 2 are the actual sort of colors that we have used for accelerating the accelerators. And so the thought process was to keep the same colors to not confuse people, because the work is the same, the community is the same, the name is changing, right? So we didn't want to confuse people that's something completely new. And then number 3 are the colors of communers.org. So that's why we chose, that's sort of our color palette for the organization as well. But open to hearing Colin's feedback as well. For people to watch.
I mean, I'm certainly not a graphic designer. I would leave that to the professionals. I think there's something about, I think with number 2, like the lowercase, I think that appeals to me. And that's based on really nothing other than my personal perception. I do like, for the wording though, in number 3, I think I like the way that one appears more with a kind of a line to the left and the network in a different, like not bolded. I do, however, think that all 3 are good contenders. And I do think that perhaps the decision should be left up to people with a bit more knowledge than myself.
So one thing that is going to happen with number 3 is people are going to cut and paste your graphic logo, and then they're going to type Impact Catalyst Network. So you're going to lose that spacing, because they're going to end up, if it's caps, the I is going to be centered over the C in the end. Like that's not happening all the time, because you're not going to have total control over your logo. And when it goes out, what happens is people take the graphic image, but they put the text, because it's often easier to just put the text in themselves. And so the logo will stand on its own. So you have the way you have it with the IM over the C, which is a little bit weird to me, but that's whatever. Again, you're sometimes going to lose that, whereas with the centering, you won't.
Right.
Oh, interesting. I didn't even think about that. Okay.
That's very deliberately and slightly unsettling turning, but again.
Okay. Perfect. Well, maybe I'll also ask our graphic designer to do a combo of 2 and 3. So like lowercase, but in those colors, sort of, like blend them together. I personally love 2 because I do love the arrow, but I hear what you're saying, Ian, in terms of having to resize or getting it cut off.
All 3 are fine. From a visual point of view, all 3 are there's no challenge.
Yeah. Cool. All right, perfect. Thank you all for your expert feedback. I appreciate it. So the agenda today, I think I will skip because it's just the 3 of us and we know where we're going and what we're doing. But we do have an amazing agenda today. You can find it on our landing page, which the link has been provided in our Mighty Networks channels. And then, of course, go to people for any edits, tech issues, myself or Colin, event registration questions, payment, donations, Rena, and then promotion communications. If you're a speaker, to send your videos to TJ, neither. Apologies, TJ. Perfect. Well, that's all we got for today. So I'm going to stop screen share. And we can have the time back, see if anyone's in wonder, and excited for all the sessions today. Thank you so much.
Let's see if anyone's in wonder.